Rappers is whack, they lyrics are calm. I'm getting this money, it never get born. I'm loading my strap, they calling the law. Fuck around on your clap, for running your jaw. If it ain't about the dollars, got me flipping brown water.
It's your boy Crypto Blood. Yes, another episode off the chain, episode 63 to be exact. Tonight we got another call-in show. I love doing these. Hope you guys participate this evening. Nifty Mania is here. We all know that, but boy, do I have some stories for you. A guy, artist out of Brooklyn, sells his farts as NFTs. Insane, man. I just don't know when this stuff is going to stop. I really don't. Coinbase delaying their ICO. Uniswap in danger because of this FATFA organization or international, I forgot what the name of it, what it stands for. We'll look at an article that goes over that. But this FATFA thing is, I actually covered this a couple of times in the past year and a half or so, because I was looking at one ruling they were trying to implement, or at least guidance they were trying to give countries regarding self-hosted wallets. So this organization is at it again, and they're really going to, potentially mess up the whole DeFi world. We're going to talk about that. And of course, printing money in the age of COVID, the cover up, man. This couldn't have come at a better time for these central bankers. And this definitely saved them and at least, allowed the can to be kicked a little bit further down the road. All that on today's episode of Off the Chain. Got my man Rice Crypto in with us tonight as well. Let's get it. Oh, make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe too. Holla.
I'ma wash him with some Tide detergent. You are fucking with the wrong person. For the coins, some people come up with all kind of schemes. Silly niggas for the paper doing anything. Stacking my coin, stacking my coin.
Shout out to my man Truth Monster out there in the chat room. Let's get it, bro.
Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, cash. Stacking my coin, stacking my coin. Stacking my coin, stacking my coin. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, cash. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, cash.
Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
Okay. Right.
Fucking thing sucks. We'll do it live.
Okay. Yes, we're doing it live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode. Glad to have my man Rice TV on with us. RiceTVx. Let me get that straight. My man RiceTVx. What does the X stand for? You just made it up? Hold on. I got you. Looks like you're on mute here. Hold on. Let me get you unmuted here.
Okay, so now we're good.
What is the
it's
X
extreme,
mean?
Extreme, man. Extreme. Rice TV Extreme.
Rice TV Extreme. What's so extreme about your TV?
Well, there was already a Rice TV, so I just had to add something to it. Had to add something to it, just so I wasn't being competitive with the Asian news channel that's out.
That's what Rice TV is?
I believe so.
That is hilarious. That is hilarious. Well, welcome. Shout out to LTC Perosi out there for joining us this evening.
Perosi's good people.
Yeah. So what's going on with you, man? We've been doing, ladies and gents, we've been doing this weekly thing with John Claude. Beyond Mystic is his channel, right?
Yeah. Beyond Crypto is the show.
Beyond Crypto is the show. Check those out. We do them every Friday at 8 p.m.
It should be called a happy hour show, though. I mean, because me and Lisa are usually pretty. By that time, it's been a long week, and I'm already, sometimes drinking.
Sometimes, huh?
Sometimes, but I've been taking it pretty easy, like this whole week, and I don't really drink that much. If I drink, it's when I'm doing stuff like this.
Yeah.
Just as a way of relaxing and breaking up the monotony from doing it.
Do you get so you've been putting out a lot of content lately?
Yeah, I've been averaging around 6 videos a week.
Woo!
So yeah, got a lot of stuff I'm trying to learn and trying to educate people in the process too. So
yeah, so Rice, let the people know about your channel and all that good stuff too while we're at it.
Okay, cool. So, I mean, when you first started, you mentioned Rice Cryptos here. So a lot of people remember me and know the brand name Rice Crypto, which is what I'm rebranding from to RiceTVx. Obviously, crypto is a big part of what I cover, but I do cover things in regards to economics and politics and things that are some people may consider to be conspiracy theories, hidden history related things, spirituality. So I have 3 different shows on my channel, so that way people can distinguish between the shows and watch what interests them. But it's all about freedom. And you've had me on before about the UCC legal fiction stuff, which I'd like to sometime in April talk about scheduling a 3rd one and talk about that. But that's been a big topic, and that's one of the reasons why I'm putting out so many videos, is because I'm interviewing a lot of people in that element so I can learn. And I'm starting to pull people together so I can, and we together can start doing some things to make some impact and change.
So what have you been finding out from interviewing all these various people about UCC? I know we did what did we do, like 3 video series?
We did 2 so far.
2.
I think it was episode 50 and 51, if I'm not mistaken, of Off the Chain. The UCC is a part of it. It's a really complex thing, and I think that's the reason why a lot of these groups that we talked about in the past have not been successful, is because not everybody had all the pieces of the equation, the pieces of the puzzle, and I think that that's starting to be figured out in a lot more elements. A lot of this is really coming down, from what I'm understanding, to trust law and equity law, and it sounds really boring just saying those things, but it's very, very fascinating when you start getting into the subject of, the idea of how a contract works, the 3 parties, the beneficiary, the trustee, and the creator, grantor. So it's very fascinating. And when you start digging into it, where you may look at this as like a conspiracy theory type thing, you start seeing all this information. It just adds up too much for it to be some sort of conspiracy.
Okay. Well, my whole thing, you just kind of touched on it. Like, I feel like I won't be sold on it until I really see real proof of someone.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's,
I'm sorry. And I think you're the same way.
Yeah.
But that's why you're going through this journey.
Yeah. So I've been looking at potentially getting involved with a group or something to that effect and doing a status change. And in my research, I'm thinking I'm going to do something in that vein. I'm going to let people know what I'm doing, but I'm going to be working with a collective of people, forming an alliance where we can have sort of a uniform education, where we can be explaining this to people all around the world. And then whatever the differences are in different nations that may vary, have those separated out. And I'm in a perfect position in my life to test this out. And there's other people that I work with that are going to be doing this as well. So as soon as we find successes in these elements, then I'm most definitely going to be bringing this forth and being as loud and vocal as I can about spreading this information.
Yeah, shout out to John Anderson for reminding me. Like I said, I don't think I did a video this week other than posting this interview I did with Jim Willie, which got taken down by YouTube. They called it medical disinformation or something like that. So check it out on Library. Thank God we do have a area where I post all my videos there. So you guys go out there and check it out. It is a community post on YouTube for you to visit that video link, part 1.
Yeah, we talked about this last night with John Claude on his channel at the show about my Dolores Cahill interview. I'm going to the interview was like almost an hour long, if not a little bit longer. And halfway through it's when we really started getting into the medical science related stuff. So I'm going to take that video tomorrow and chop it down to just the parts that are related to the things that got you in trouble, and see what happens. This is a test, because that's the reason why I waited so long in the interview to even bring that up. And maybe that might have something to do with it. I don't know. It was an hour. Like if you're thinking the interview's an hour long and we waited till around the 30-minute mark to even get into anything controversial, is that potentially a way of bypassing the algorithm?
I don't think so.
So I don't understand. We're right neck and neck with stuff. So comparing what happens to me and you should be real easy with our subscriber, view count, and all that kind of things.
Right.
So
No,
I'm
I
interviewing somebody who's controversial in that subject. You're interviewing somebody who's not known for that subject, and your video gets taken down and mine's still up.
Well,
So
watch the video first.
Okay.
I just while we're live, I made it public because Jim does.
Is it on YouTube public?
No, well, I did a community post with the library link to it.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
I'll definitely check it out.
Jim Willie is Jim Willie, and he's going to have his opinions, and I respect his opinions. I don't necessarily always agree with his opinions, but as I stated on JC's live stream last night, Rice, we should be entitled to hear other people's opinions, whether how extreme they are, how right or wrong they are. Why are we at a state where people get, these platforms get to choose who we want to listen to?
Yeah.
There were 3 million people listening to and following, what's his name? Alex Jones.
Right.
Okay, it wasn't a gun to their head. They voluntarily wanted
people
to
could have
follow.
chose to tune out if they wanted to.
Right.
But that was that test for like stifling somebody's voice and seeing how the public was going to react to it. Not very many people came to Alex Jones' aid.
They didn't.
There were a few people that spoke out, but nobody really, it wasn't until like where we are now, which started in a way, not specifically with Alex Jones, but that was kind of like the big catalyst to let you know what was coming, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You're supposed to have Jim back on tomorrow, aren't you?
Yep, I'll have Jim on tomorrow. Again, it's going to probably be just straight posted to library, man.
Well, that's the thing too. So like I'm bringing on people on my channel who YouTube has kicked off. Like I'm doing everything in a way I can to piss YouTube off. Like I'm bringing Max Egan on my show 3 times. His channel was taken down. They don't like him.
I think they're starting to not like Jim either because he's the reason why JC's main channel got banned or canceled or whatever.
Oh, really? Jim Willie was?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Maybe I gotta talk to this Jim Willie.
This guy Rice is a kamikaze out here, bro. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that, bro.
Yeah,
because
I do.
At the end of the day, it doesn't help anyone. If people can't see, you're trying to wake people up, right?
Yeah. No, I get it, dude. I get it.
People can't see the channel because they've taken it down.
Now I know in my case, I'm not going to have this work in my benefit, but talking to someone like Max Egan, he said that this is actually one of the best things that's happened to him because now like all kinds of content creators are using his stuff, like anonymous official on YouTube, using his voice with all their stuff they're coming out with, a lot of their videos. So it's almost amplified his voice in a way by not him having his own channel on YouTube anymore. So, but I get what you're saying, dude. I really do. I'm trying to work on things that are going to help us have censorship resistance. Library is a great platform. I'm kind of getting a little bit of, I'm not really liking the idea of getting rid of the whole library thing and focusing more on Odyssey and the competition for YouTube. Because that was even a question I asked Jeremy Kauffman, the CEO, is what happens when, let's say you're successful and overtaking YouTube? What's going to stop your company and you from becoming like them? It's kind of that circle of,
course,
you become that which you hate.
It's going to happen. That's exactly what happens. You get too big. Now you're a subject of either national security, national policy, whatever.
It's crazy to think about.
Man.
I didn't mean to get off on a tangent. Let's talk about some crypto news.
All good, man. So, yeah, I'll be having Jim on tomorrow, ladies and gents, and I'll put it up. So, part 2, I'll probably put up for the members tonight as a community post. So check for that if you're a member, and I'll be recording with Jim tomorrow. We're gonna talk about the DC riots or something that happened. So I'm definitely not putting that on YouTube. That's
when that happened.
He's got some information regarding the
The 6th?
DC captured. He said DC captured situation with POW MIA flag over the Capitol building.
Okay, so is he in the alphabet? Is he into the alphabet stuff?
In what regard?
That 17th letter
I don't know.
comes after, it's NOPR.
I don't know.
Because I mean, in a sense, a lot of that kind of stuff is coming from there. And that's another thing too on the censorship stuff is that 17th letter of the alphabet, that whole movement. A lot of that stuff has been censored on YouTube. A lot of those content creators have been taken down. And now HBO is getting ready to release a big docu-series coming out tomorrow on it. So it's like, and then it's going to be, I guess, if you're ridiculing it or something to that effect, because the HBO special is claiming that they know who the source behind it was.
Okay.
And it's some Asian guy. It doesn't make any sense.
Surprised they didn't blame Russia.
I haven't watched it yet, but because it hasn't come out, it doesn't come out till tomorrow. But there was an article that I saw where they were showing who they say it's a guy named Ron Watkins. This is a picture of him right here. So I don't think it's legit that it's just some dude, I think, living in Japan, but I want to see what it's all about. But I just find it very hypocritical that HBO is going to be doing that. Now it's becoming a talk piece on news, mainstream news, and yet a content creator on YouTube is going to get I've put out videos that have nothing to do with that. And underneath the video, it's got like some kind of warning as if I'm talking about it, fact checking me, not doing anything to demonetize or give me a warning or a strike. Just putting this little fact checked information below my videos happens quite often.
I think I told you this offline. I think you should be considering a second channel. Just starting to build that now.
Yeah. I was trying. I've actually got a backup channel name and stuff set up, just no video. So I'm kind of in the works with that. I was going to give somebody a
because you press the envelope on YouTube for sure. You know, I just don't want to.
Oh, I feel you, dude. I feel you.
You know, but
my income is not coming from YouTube. My sponsors have told me they're with me. So Monarch and Presearch aren't. They're not. Like my YouTube channel is not the reason they're sponsoring. And I'm growing my base on like YouTube. I'm up, or Library. I just passed 2,500, which is to me a nice little accomplishment on Library.
It is. That's a lot. That's way more than I think I have over there.
I think I passed up like 25,000 views, which is to me another accomplishment. It was just for that type of a platform. It doesn't have.
What type of the thing? I've never even withdrew any of my coins from over there on Library.
I'm getting ready to cash in. They sent me. I don't have it in front of me, but they sent me a gift. They sent me like letters thanking me for being a content creator.
Nice. Like
very personal. Then they sent me a little box that's kind of like a small version of a fire hydrant. It says,
how'd they get your address?
I gave it to them. They asked me.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, they asked me. They told me they wanted to send me something. I know Jeremy and a couple of people there, so I don't.
Okay. Gotcha.
It's not like just some odd thing. So,
gotcha.
But they sent me like 25,000 LBC, and the last I looked, it was sitting above 20 cents. So that's over $5,000 in value.
Yeah.
It's at 24 cent right now. So I mean, LBC is doing pretty good.
It is. It definitely is.
It definitely has a lot of growth. So I'm glad that we are promoting. I just kind of.
So the Odyssey thing, I thought Odyssey is still pulling. It's just it's a different front end UI that's still pulling from the Library blockchain. Am I correct?
We'll pull up on library.tv and look at the banner that comes up on the top of that. Because library.tv is the web version of Library. And then Odyssey is like the sister. So they're retiring library.tv.
Yeah, retiring in favor of Odyssey. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's still same blockchain.
They're still utilizing Library, and they're not going to be putting as much emphasis on Library and LBC. I don't think I don't know if that's for security reasons. I'm not sure 100% what
Oh, so the
a lot of that
tokens,
stuff.
let me see
It's
here.
still
So,
there. You're still going to be able to earn it, but
Mhm.
they've also, I guess they have halvening events and things in the roadmap. So they've reduced the rewards. I don't think you're getting a payout now for having your content going from YouTube to library. Like you used to get like every 30 days, you would get X amount of LBC. I think they cut that off.
Mm.
So with those kind of things, with people not earning as much LBC, you know, it should help the people who have LBC as far as supply and what's coming out.
Gotcha.
And I mean, it's another project that I do believe in. I really like the LBRY name.
Yeah, no, I hear you, man. So speaking of like, you know, crypto, blockchain, I again haven't done a video all week, so I didn't even get a chance on video to let you guys know that my NFT, I've been blasting on Twitter and on the community post, but definitely my NFT set Roll the Dice is out. So
Can you screen share the Wax wallet that shows them?
what do you mean?
Can you screen share your NFTs here?
I'm here.
Okay, because
On
I'm
the
watching
screen.
on TV. I just didn't see them on the screen.
Oh yeah, it's probably a little slight delay there, but
Okay.
yeah, so I've got it here. I'll drop a link for you guys to check out this series. You know, I thought, you know, I put a lot of thought behind it.
I see them now.
And it's been very fun doing these, man. So I've got a few more coins coming out for some of those fanboys of other altcoins and such. So check it out. I'll leave a link so you guys can go check out what we got. The Dogecoin ones have a higher supply, so you know, consequently they're going to be cheaper. But I do have some rare and ultra rare ones, like my Roll the Dice Motion one, and the Bitcoin one is only 21 of them. I think my man, you know, Crypto Stash. I'm gonna be on Crypto Stash's what do they call it? Bit Active podcast or meetup. They do.
I'm Stash and Gaston Cruz.
Yeah,
they do that.
I'm gonna be on.
They don't record it. It's just a meetup. They just try to bring it. They just try to bring in different.
Meetup.
Yeah, they just try to bring in guests. It's like doing what we're doing, but they don't record it.
Yeah, which is interesting. I don't know why they don't.
Yeah, you would think they would put them up because I think that Gaston and them, they had a Bit Active channel. Another thing too, man, since you're talking about NFTs, I would recommend that you bring on like Stash. I had Stash and Bozak going with Crypto Zombie, and Stash and Bozak are pretty much like some of the most knowledgeable people in the NFT space.
Oh yeah, they are.
Stash,
sure.
Even
Stash for sure. Like
Stash.
I remember Stash was into it well before the wave came.
Yeah, and he can give Stash credit for that.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah. So he's definitely like kind of a OG. Here's another channel that does not get enough attention, bro.
Stash?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree.
It's weird.
Well, you can almost tell who buys their views and buys their subscribers.
Yeah, oh, there we go again, Rice. Hold on.
Did I say that out loud?
Oh man, you shocked me with that one, man. I don't be paying attention, but I didn't think it was like that.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, well, we won't mention any names on
here.
No,
I don't want to call people out, but it does happen. I mean, it happens a lot in content creating in general, but like I said, it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy if you got the money to pay for it.
I guess. I mean, I could do it. I just can't.
It's because you have morals, man.
And I don't need counts to validate what
You're not defined by your
bro. That's that they have that like social media anxiety issue.
That Black Mirror social media credit score system stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, like they if they don't get enough likes, they think something's wrong with them, and
yeah, but we've seen things. I guess it was one of the creators of Facebook. I can't ever pronounce that guy's name. Who's involved in Bitcoin and crypto? Is from India.
Winklevoss?
No, it's from India or something like that. But he's that's how those applications were designed.
Oh, Chamath? You talking about Chamath?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's spoken about this. I mean, that's how those applications were designed. They were designed to get you to perpetually be interested, and it was and they did things with through an algorithm in a certain way to like leave people hanging. It's because they've done a lot of studies you know, like when somebody looks at, you know, somebody liking their post, it excites people. It some reason it actually helps their self-esteem in some cyber way.
Yeah, it creates those endorphins that get flowing once you get so, you know, you see those likes and stuff and all. That's it's crazy,
And then
man.
if you're not really a sociable person and you're having problems in life and you don't have a lot of friends, but you're able to kind of fake it through a social media profile and people like you on social media,
and I see a lot of that.
That becomes your life, you know, and then the real life means nothing to you, because in real life you don't have anything, because you just, I mean, it's kind of,
I've seen a lot of that, Rice, where people become pretty popular online, but in real life they were never popular. They were never the man or the girl or whatever.
You could tell those kind of people too.
I think
those in a way are the ones that are buying the views.
Okay. All right. That's why I love having Rice on, man. This guy keeps it real. So let's get into the cryptos. Again, guys, I'll leave a link in a second. Check out the NFT set. Roll the dice. I've got another one, man. Crazy collabo coming with, I don't want to say who, what company, but we're doing some NFTs together as well. So look out for those. But the Dogecoin ones, man, I think I minted like 20 of them. I only got 2 left. So I've sold like 18 Dogecoin NFTs, and quite a few others, man. A few Litecoins and a few Bitcoin ones as well. But it's been fun, man. I'm waiting on yours. Yeah,
no, I want to talk to you about the wax stuff. I do have like a NFT on Rarible, but I'm not even going to promote it because of gas fees.
Exactly. That's why I'm not messing with Ethereum.
I have a couple of NFTs on Rarible, but it's just, it's not worth the trouble and the fees. So I'm just going to go the wax route. And I'll probably look into a couple other things as well and just utilize, because I'm not really a maximalist of any sort. I try to be as agnostic as possible and promote as many good projects that have good long standing.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So we do have a question here before we get started. I guess we've been introing for about 30 minutes. It's all good.
If you ever need to fill up some time and just need to make a video, obviously we can just do this and
right.
We can just talk. No preparation.
None. You know, I like to be prepared too. You know how I am. I send lists and people don't even, respect the game. So JC said, "Hey guys, what are your thoughts on gold and silver as they do over the next 10 years?"
The fact that silver is being used in a lot of industrial use for electronics and other different components for parts. So I would definitely encourage people to diversify with crypto and precious metals, but in particular, I would say more so in the elements of silver versus gold, because I think there's going to be a higher return on that. It's just one of those things. If you look at all the wealthy investors, they're not putting all their eggs in one basket. So I would just definitely encourage people to not put all their eggs in one basket. And there are some eggs that have proven themselves throughout history, and precious metals, gold and silver in particular, have proven themselves 100%. Now, I mean, we could see scarcity change with asteroid mining, finding gold mountains, under ocean exploration. Who knows what we can find as far as, and it may bring the value down because there are more than what was available, but I don't think that they're going to go away. And as much as I'm a big fan of cryptocurrencies, I'm not a fan of going completely digital either. And I'm not a fan of fiat money. So the other alternative to that, besides bartering and, things like that, would.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I mean, I think I agree with you. I think I would be more, I'm like 90-10 PMs, cryptos to PMs, 90-10.
That's about where I'm at,
crypto,
honestly.
10%.
1% fiat.
Right. Yeah, I keep very little fiat. So let's see. We got a caller actually. Let's see if we can get them in here.
Sweet.
And we ain't never gonna get to any other topics, huh?
Well.
All good with
I've got
me.
till 6:30. I'm good till 6:30.
Yeah, I know you're good till 6:30, so we'll get through a couple of these. Caller, who's on the line tonight? Thanks for joining.
Man, it's default, man.
Default, what's going on, man?
Man, y'all talking and stuff like that. I was just tuning in, but man, I wanted to get to it because you sent the article. I wanted to talk about Charlie Lee, but
Charlie Lee. Okay, so what about Charlie, man? Why people give Charlie Lee so much trouble?
Like I said it when it first came out. I said it for the last 3 years now. He scammed. He knew he had inside knowledge. You know, everybody that was a Charlie apologist out here, the boy that used to come on here, was John Kim, whatever. They were shielding him. Like, he had inside knowledge. He was manipulating the price. Like, he was obviously manipulating the price. And this report that came out on
what Default is talking about, guys, is the article I have in the description of this video regarding the fine that Coinbase paid to the CFTC. They paid a $6.5 million fine. And he's referring to, there is an area in this article that says that there were false trade volumes placed on Litecoin, and it was by an employee, and this happened in 2016, I think.
16.
Yeah. So I don't know why we're jumping to the conclusion that it was anything to do with Litecoin or not Litecoin. What's his name? Charlie Lee.
Yeah. Okay. Here's what I'll say about Charlie Lee in his defense. I don't think it was inside information. The guy has been trading precious metals and Forex and other things for quite some time. So I think he's just good with technical analysis. Honestly.
What you guys say about that, Default?
Yeah, but he was before crypto ever existed, he was a commodities trader. It's 100%.
Okay.
Him and his brother Bobby Lee were both big in trading gold and silver and things like that. So they were commodities traders, so they had some sort of technical analysis.
So the article says that that an employee intentionally placed matching Bitcoin versus BTC trades during a 6-week period in 2016 to create the illusion of liquidity and demand for.
Yeah, he was an employee of Coinbase. They set this market. Of course, it's not going to be him directly. It's going to be somebody indirectly. The point is, just with his call to sell Litecoin at basically the top, and he tried to disclose he didn't. I think he tried to disclose in 2018 that he didn't sell at the top. He sold at 3 instances. But my point is,
have you ever met Charlie?
He has.
You haven't?
I'm saying, Charlie's a cool guy. I mean, if you meet Charlie, I don't think that you would even think these kind of things about him.
You got to meet Charlie. I met Charlie Lee a couple of times.
He's like a cool nerd.
Yep.
And he loves Star Wars and stuff. Like, I'm not saying that doesn't discount you from being able to commit crimes, but I just don't see that in him.
It's not a crime. I mean, because it's an unregulated market.
Not unless you
My
get
point
caught.
is, it's an unregulated market. What's the crime in a market that you're not regulating? Like, they can try to charge you. They can come after you and then create the law afterwards. But right now, it's the Wild Wild West. My point is, he came out and tried to say that he had no insider knowledge. I'm calling bull on that. He might be cool. He might be everything you're saying. I'm saying it had insider knowledge. I think it starts to link what type of power he had inside the exchange. That's just my view.
It's possible. So if he did have insider knowledge that was given to him, what is he supposed to do with that information? If you were in his shoes, what would you be doing if someone, because he used to work at Coinbase, but let's just say, someone told him, hey, look, man, I'm trying to, big up your coin a little bit. I'm doing this XYZ over here at Coinbase.
We're gonna pump it. We're gonna dump it.
Yeah, so what is he supposed to do? Call the authorities and snitch on his former?
No, he's supposed to sell at the top like he did.
But he told everyone to. That's the thing.
Yeah, he was.
It's damned if you do. It's damned if you do, damned if you don't. I'm sorry, because if he didn't say anything, you would have said the same. What would you say then?
And really what he was doing was he was covering his ass for any future stuff when it comes to the SEC and when it comes to targeting.
Yeah, think about that, Default.
Because he didn't do the Satoshi Nakamoto route. He was public with who he was. So I'm not 100% defending him because I mean at the same time, like I love Litecoin. It was the first altcoin I purchased, but what really has been done? I've argued this, you know, and I've even asked Charlie to come back on the show. There's not been a lot of improvements made.
I agree.
But it doesn't need the improvements. So I'm not saying that it does or doesn't, but I'm just saying there hasn't been a whole lot done to it.
If Bitcoin needs the improvements, for sure, Litecoin does.
Well, we'll see. Like we've seen Square is talking about funding now some development for Bitcoin. So let's see if maybe because normally that kind of stuff gets tested out on Litecoin. Can utilize.
They can route They can route their transactions.
And it is fast, but in that sense, like Bitcoin Cash,
it's fast to a 2013 standard. At a 2000, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Shoot across in seconds. So, yeah, that's even up for debate. On with the Default, man. What's going on today?
Can't hate on Charlie here, though.
Well, besides the Charlie Lee slander, that had me hyped. But I guess there's a few articles that you sent. I think another one that I just wanted to touch on was the money printer article.
I was going to kind of, I was going to, the thing is, sorry to cut you off. I was going to segue before you called in and after JC made his comment or asked us about gold and silver and stuff, this is exactly what I was going to point to. This was going to be a perfect segue into that question because honestly, ladies and gentlemen, it's almost like you can stumble and fall on wealth now if you just get the hell out of the dollar.
Yeah.
I don't care if you go buy real estate. I don't care if you go buy stocks. I don't care if you go buy bonds. I don't care if you go buy cryptos, NFT art, watches, art, whatever. Exotic cars, they're all going to go up in value because of what we're doing with this money printing, man. It's getting out of control.
You know, what's going to be interesting too, since we talked about gold and silver and this money printing, is there may come a situation where they have to reevaluate the price of gold and silver. And that's going to be interesting.
Why would they have to help me understand that? I don't understand.
Because, I mean, there are lots of talks of going to a partially gold-backed currency or some sort of rainbow-backed currency. So, I mean, it'd be really interesting to see how that plays out.
Here in the States, you think?
Potentially. I mean,
I don't see. You know, I'll tell you why I don't see that. Go ahead, Default.
The plan is a digital dollar. That's the plan. That's what they keep
that's
selling out. So it's not going to gold or silver. But I was going to mention that everybody brings up the money printing and the M2 chart. But you got to look at the M2V, the money velocity. Yeah, that's what the chart that people aren't looking at. It's money velocity right now is at all-time lows.
All-time low.
And that's why, you know, is saying that's coming. I mean, it's at all-time lows. It could be the bottom.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. Like, think about that, though, Default. If we're at all-time low, it's almost a scenario. Yeah, we could go lower, but it's almost a scenario like it's nowhere else but to go higher. It's nowhere else but to have velocity speed up.
Yeah, it's like being homeless. Like how much worse is it going to get?
Exactly.
I'm just dead.
Right.
It could get worse because the issue is, if you look at other central banks right now, they're starting to rein in. They're starting to tighten their interest rates. They're starting to rise their put their interest rates higher. So it comes to a point if you don't get any velocity and you still have this printing and you have other countries that are, like China right now is higher in their interest rate. Mm-hmm. If they start to, higher this interest rate and the capital starts to flow into there, it's going to force the U.S. to higher interest rates so they can keep capital within the U.S. and keep a market with their treasuries. So that's the scenario that could play out where you don't have any inflation. But I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just saying, like right now, as of today, the velocity
it's logical. What you're saying is logical.
Very, very. Yeah.
So it's not
The
like
velocity is low.
you're just spouting out just something to say something. You're backing it up with something here that makes sense.
Yeah, and that's the whole argument. And right now, this week the Fed came out and they basically said they're not going to do anything as far as curtailing the 10-year from rising. And as you see this week, I mean, it got to like 1.75. It's down a little bit from there. But if you start to hit like 2% and that 10-year keeps rising, this whole inflation narrative is going to get, I think it's going to get destroyed, honestly, because people are going to start running into, at some point, the interest rate will go up so high on the 10-year will be attractive to the higher end capital. And when that happens, these jump bonds.
But let me interject really quickly, because default, in a regular, quote unquote, regular market, I'm talking 10 years ago or further, if we had a bond market where the yields were heading higher, that means that the bond prices are heading lower. That means that money is rotating out of bonds and headed into equities. So it could be a decoupling from this scenario we've been in since 2008, where we're finally getting back to regular markets, and we can see that decoupling happening from stocks and the debt markets, because since then it's been both going higher and higher. So could that be a scenario that's occurring?
That's true short term, but more mid to long term, as the interest rates keep rising, most of the, like the bond market, most of that capital goes into like junk bonds. And so what will happen is, if the interest rates rise enough where it becomes attractive to these bondholders, the institutions that invest in these bonds, what they'll start doing, they'll start taking money out of the more riskier assets, these junk bonds, and that would affect like these corporations. And that capital will flow back into the U.S. Treasury. So I agree with you short term. Yeah, they're selling their bonds. There's not a market, and that's why the interest rate is rising right now. Mm-hmm. But mid to long term, if the rates keep rising, it'll start becoming attractive to these, to these institutions to be like, well, I'll just park my money here because it's low risk, because these bonds have never failed. So I'll get 2.5% on this bond instead of invested in this corporation that, your books, if you look at their books right now, they're insolvent. The only reason why they're surviving is because we keep funding their debt. So this is the the scenario where, like I said, this inflation. There definitely is an argument if the velocity starts to, and people start going out, and this vaccine, really is as good as they're saying it is.
Now I don't know where you live.
That's a whole different discussion.
I'm talking about people getting out and spending money. But all I know, my black folks here in the D, we've been spending money. I go to the mall, man. You talking about stores lined around the corner? These black folks are spending money, bruh. I don't know about what you're saying, but the money is I see it being injected into the market, into the hands of the people. You know what I'm saying? And typically what happens is, the less money you make, the more you spend of the money that you have. The marginal propensity to save is very low. The least amount, or the lower your revenue is or salary is a year. The
your
more
lower
you make
income,
a year, exactly.
In fact, money, whereas somebody could invest it and have it turn into more.
Yep.
But people, it's an interesting world we live in, man. And people aren't even thinking about right now the ramifications, all this stimulus money.
No, they're not.
And I mean, I'm not seeing how we can't have inflation, even a high form of inflation, with printing up more than 20% of the money supply in 2020.
I can't
doesn't
see that either.
I don't see how we can avoid it with having so many bills and we're just adding to it. Like, I heard somebody was talking, I can't remember when it was specifically. It might have been early 2000s, something to do with government stuff, and they were passing some sort of bill that was like 3.6 billion or something. I'm just throwing out a figure, but it was in the billions, and they were arguing about that dollar amount. And now they're passing through stuff that's in the trillions and not even blinking about it. It's just insane, like what's going on.
Yeah, now they're talking about giving $300 a month to every person under a certain income per child. Like in perpetuity, right?
Right. So it's to help child poverty is what they're trying to combat now.
I think that's a tax credit. It's not directly funds into your account, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
but also
I think you're right about that.
I think you're right. Yeah.
To the end of the year, so it's not an ongoing thing, and so a lot of these measures are temporary, like there's temporarily.
Well, it's also, just temporarily till you get people, like sucking the tit.
Yeah,
it all adds up. To do what you're told, be a good citizen. That's where we're headed, unless we do something to change it.
I gotta ask you, Default, just to pivot real quick to cryptos, man. Where are we with this whole NFT thing, man? Because it's just every week, I'm shocked more and more at what's going on.
I'm not really shocked. I mean, there is value in NFTs.
Oh, for sure.
But right now, it's being overvalued. It's a bubble. It's a little mini bubble, and I know I made a comment that before that I didn't think NFTs will fall. You go down unless there's some type of like insurance or auditing. Like there's a metric.
Oh yeah, that was you that came up. So reiterate your theory on NFTs in a bear market scenario for cryptos.
The only way I can see like art, like digital art or NFT, retaining its value if there's some type of like way to what's the word I'm looking for? Not audit, but assess. Like, is there a way to assess the value and basically ensure the value? Now,
sort of like you would do with a baseball card or a comic book, where you get them valued and get a certification and all that kind of stuff. Is that
exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Like if you have a
authentication and certification service, I guess would be what it is.
Exactly. If you have some type of clearinghouse or something or some type of system like that can basically assess the value and can reassess the value in the future, because usually with these art markets, that's what is like determining the value. And they have it goes to like auctioneer, like I guess that would be like OpenSea, but that's how the value. I have these NFT that's selling for $1,000 or 1 ETH today, and then we go in a bear market, and now that 1 ETH, I mean, if it's still valued at 1 ETH, it already lost value because Ethereum might have lost 25% or 50% of its value. So if there's no way to certify, that.
What I would argue with that, though, is if even if you do that with a physical item, and I use like the comic books as an example, you may have a #1 Superman that might be worth $1 million, and somebody who doesn't care about comic books or Superman, and they wouldn't pay $1 for it. So in that sense, it's the perceived value, kind of like what we were talking about last night. And that way, you really couldn't have that in that sense. Now, if you were an artist and you wanted to say like your piece was worth X amount of fiat money, and then whatever that equates to in cryptocurrency, you could do that, but that kind of goes against the paradigm of what crypto is about. But
exactly, and that's what I'm saying. That's where if there's no way to authenticate the value of this NFT, then of course, then I would think in a bear market when that Ethereum or whatever Wax or whatever coin that you're using to determine the value goes down, then of course the NFT value will go down. But I mean, we will have to see this play out before, this is just a theory. This is just what I'm going off from like a market perspective. But until it plays out, you really don't know. But that's just how I see NFTs.
I mean, it's interesting.
Definitely in a bubble.
I've got like $3,400 in Wax NFTs. It wasn't even that much. And one of the NFTs is like $423, and it's a fluffy pony rotating. I'm trying to see if it'll zoom in a little bit better, but it's Fluffy Pony like just rotating in this. It's from Blockchain Heroes. So for somebody would buy it because of the value of how things are traded and stuff. It's got a price medium, a price average, price last, price minimum, price maximum. So Wax has a little bit of ways of being able to, in a way, kind of help secure the value if you looked into Wax in those aspects. Because when you look into okay, well, when you go into the stats from some of these NFTs, you can see the different value ratings and stuff. So I wouldn't use Ethereum necessarily as an example. I know Ethereum was where the NFT started, but I just definitely think that other platforms are going to be way more successful with NFTs versus, I mean, why would you create an NFT on Ethereum versus Wax? There's no reason.
It's pure ignorance.
It's just more accessible.
It is.
It's just more accessible.
Yeah, but they're building interoperability. You know, I think that, you know, that's going to be a lot of the future. So I think that a lot of these blockchains will eventually have this communication with each other, and that there will be ways of being able to interact with.
Do you think there's a premium on Ethereum with their NFTs? Let me rephrase the question. Is the premium for NFT just because that's where the concentration of wealth in cryptos are right now anyhow? Kind of kind of coming in.
Because $500 transaction.
If you want something, ridiculous. You'll pay for it. That's something.
Exactly.
So if it's something that you really, if it's something you love and you adore and it means something to you, you will do what's necessary to obtain that.
So you would spend $70, or I wouldn't say that much, but $40 on gas fees to buy something that is at that time listed at a value of maybe $10.
If let's say for me, it would have to be depending on what it was. If I was buying like a piece of history, feel good about just supporting.
Right.
Yeah. I don't, that's another thing too about the crypto space is that a lot of content creators will support each other and buy each other's NFTs, not because they want to own the NFT, but just because they want to support.
That's very true.
Who's a peer.
Right.
So
that's very true. I agree. I agree with you on that. So this fart in NFT.
When I first saw that though, I thought they were talking about fan art, and I was like, "That's cool, man," because that's one of these little subgenres of art. Fan art, fart, but somebody actually took their fart and
dig this.
Fart.
So they this is interesting, man. So they had done this prior to the NFT boom. They had set out to record a fart every day. And when the NFT boom came around, they're like, oh, we can put every fart that we did for the last year turn into an NFT. So that's what these fellas did, man. And they're selling. Now, from what I can tell, oh, no, 6. 1, yeah. And it was for
shout out to those 6 people who own some digital farts.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I was finally on Clubhouse, ladies and gentlemen, and listening to I was in a room with Alan Henna last night, listening to these art people, man, and it's just funny, man. They are really, I think, a little salty about this NFT boom. Like your traditional artists who do like oil on canvas and set up installations, and they went to school for this stuff, and they go around walking in the halls like this. You know how they all walk with their finger out looking at each art piece.
DJs used to say the same thing, man, with
vinyl. Absolutely.
And now and then vinyl got expensive, and now they got these digital units.
That's what's going to happen to everything, though. That's the transition. I mean, I wouldn't go to school for, post your art on one of these platforms and see if you can get some buyers.
Be progressive and look at all these different variations of art and how you can take this technology and enhance what you do. There's always ways that we can improve everything that we do. And no matter how great you are at what you do, you can always improve. And I think that's one of these opportunities. You know, I give
agree.
a lot of respect to the artists that are looking like Vesa. I don't know if you've met Vesa before or
no.
Art by Vesa. He's been at a lot of crypto events.
Okay.
He's been doing physical artwork and then immortalizing them in NFTs and stuff like that. So he's somebody who's taken this and has just ran with it and really is grasping the possibilities with it. Even the idea of what those guys did, that some decentralized art group purchasing a Banksy photo and burning it, getting rid of the physical one.
Yeah. I mean, that's fine.
That's a pretty interesting concept. Yeah.
It's all progressive, man. I'm with all the progressiveness, to be honest with you. Yeah, we're in a slight bubble. Like Default said, I think we're in a mini bubble.
Yeah, when you got Paul Logan making $5 million off of NFTs, and you got Lindsay Lohan getting paid by Justin's son to shield Tron. Yeah, it's I mean, but once we get past that and people see the value and not just doing this for a money grab, the future is so bright. You just got to get past this little Bitcoin BitConnect period.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, it's going to be a money grab. It's
going to be a money grab. It's going to be a money grab. And, you know, I sat back for many, many months, man, just observing this thing. And I'm like, studying it. And I'm like,
being all
I'm not going to put
being all methodical and releasing your NFTs right at the hype.
Unfortunately, you think that's good timing?
Yeah. Just
maybe, but I sat back and waited because I wanted to come up with a theme, like something that had meaning and a set that, you know, a series with multiple sets that had some type of motif around it, not just
because you care about your branding. You're not just putting out something for the sake of putting it out. You're just not having somebody draw a Simpsons version of you and then throwing it on an NFT and saying, "Here you go." No. And I won't have a lot of NFTs because every project I'm doing collabing with a company now, it's going to be thought through, you know, and it's not going to be just put out an unlimited number of NFTs and just. While we're on this topic, what do you think about the IRS and SEC when it comes to the NFTs and what's going on with these money grabs and stuff?
I don't think they can. Only thing they can do is just tax you on the sale, because it's like me selling a piece of art, literally like a physical piece of art.
Okay, that makes sense.
I can't see.
You can't see any blowback.
They can never come at it. Oh, this is a security. That is just not even possible. Now, will they move the goalposts?
Somebody who's advertising that they have $200,000 in NFTs and selling them on a regular basis. Would you think that they're going to be technically have to pay taxes on all the sales of their?
The only way they're going to be able to pay taxes or be put in a position that they would have to pay taxes is if the marketplace in which they're selling them on, if they're selling them on a marketplace, they could create their own pack opener and NFT site front end and sell them directly from their site. They could do that. But if they're selling them on, like, let's say, Atomic Assets website marketplace or Rarible or OpenSea, the only point of failure are those companies. So the IRS can squeeze them and say, okay, every user that comes to your platform, they have the KYC.
Okay, I get you.
That's coming.
That's coming. Yeah. That's where they would do it, Rice, in my opinion. Yeah.
Where do you think Wax will stand with something like that?
They're gonna fold. They're too corporate. They're too big.
They'll comply with whatever they need to comply with.
Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely, man. And it's unfortunate. That's the trend that those companies, many of them start off with good intentions. That's why we have to get to the point where DAOs or DAOs are created and implemented more often than
which is like
they are right now.
Decentralizing the power structure, a decentralized autonomous organization.
Exactly. So we still got some way to go when it comes to decentralizing the actual very blockchains that we interact with. 2, and one of the articles that I was going to talk about today was DPNs, right? Decentralized private networks. That's taking VPNs to another level.
I haven't
got to
even heard
get
of
that
those.
done. And then we gotta decentralize these organizations, these
We
companies.
need to decentralize the internet.
Yeah.
That's a big,
Remember
that's a big one.
Substratum?
Yeah, Wes. I mean, but this is why I'm a big. I always talk about Nexus. I mean, I'm really a big proponent of what Nexus is building, has built, and the roadmap. I just think it's.
Skycoin was on that wave too.
Skycoin is trying to be, but now here's the thing that I discovered with Skycoin. I haven't really gone real public with this, but it's 100% pre-mined. I think there's one master node. So like where you think you're staking or whatever or mining, you're just getting a payout from the master node. It's not really. I don't even think that they actually have their consensus mechanism where they say they have a consensus mechanism that is different than proof of stake or proof of work. They're not using any consensus mechanism. I think it's a very centralized project that's full of a bunch of fluff. But Nexus, to back it up, the creator of Nexus, his father was one of the co-founders of SpaceX, created Vector rockets, and now he's with Space Corporation. The satellites that what's that company I hate so much? Crypto Blood.
Which company?
Blockstream.
Oh, Blockstream.
The satellites that Blockstream were through Colin's dad. Through.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I mean, these guys are really going to be putting up low Earth orbit satellites. They're going to be using ground technology and creating mesh networks, and they're actually going to be tokenizing these satellites.
Oh, wow.
They have an operating system they've created. I'll send you links to the interviews, and then I'll send you some links to what they're creating. But if you want to talk about when we're talking about the scaling issue and Ethereum 2.0, and you got your Polkadot, your Cardanos, and all these other different platforms, I still really feel very much like Nexus is already way ahead of everybody.
Well, so here's the thing, because we both know, all three of us know, it's not about which is the best tech.
No, it's not about tech.
It's never
marketing. Shout out to Justin.
It's about marketing. It's about marketing and a little bit of luck.
Despise him. He's an excellent marketer. Excellent marketer.
He's an excellent marketer. It's all about marketing and opportunity meets preparation and boom.
But when everything is not, let's just say none of these platforms are successful in any for any scaling, and then there is another platform that someone's going to figure out this works. So I mean, eventually the technology, I think, can speak for itself, especially if none of these other technologies can do what they're talking about doing, especially with real
quick. I just got to give a shout out to Grinch for dropping 10 LBC to me over there on Library TV. I appreciate that. I wanted to get back up there and give you a shout out for that. And then I had another question about EOS and Telos. Why aren't they getting much attention? I think my man Big O said that, to me, I think EOS in general has a PR marketing issue, and they're looking for, and I don't know, like Block One isn't stepping in that position for, I think, a valid reason that we don't know of. Since they settled with the SEC, I think there's some things that their hands are tied with.
It's possible.
And
did Dan Larimer step away from Block One?
He did step away. And
is there any talks about him doing another project? Like
he is doing another project. I forgot the name.
Okay.
It's a governance. Kind of layer for EOS.
Okay. I was curious.
So yeah, he is. So he's still doing some stuff with EOS, but EOS is not, guys got to remember, it's not so much about EOS, it's about EOS IO, which is what was developed, the code that EOS runs on, the code that Wax runs on. It's modified a little bit. The code that Telos runs on, the code that BIOS, I know my man Walter wants me to shout BIOS out, the code that it's a number of blockchains are doing very well.
What is DIOS? Decentralized DIOS?
BIOS is B.
Oh, B. I thought you said
Bravo.
D. Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with that, but he's always dropping that in the chat rooms. But go ahead, Default.
Just want to add, because I got into EOS for 2, because I think I showed it in one of the group rooms, at like 220. But the chart looks fine. Like, I know, like you were saying, there's no marketing. They have marketing problems. There's just no marketing for EOS. Like, you don't hear.
No.
There's no shill squad on Twitter. There's no Telegram. Like, you getting a million messages from,
No, it's never been that type of. No, it's never been that type of community. It's never been that type of community. And maybe that's to its detriment. Who knows?
But
I don't know.
Technically, Bitcoin stays up. I mean, I think EOS can really start to gain value, and the BTC pair as well looks like it's bottoming out. So it's just gotta be patient, I guess. As long as Bitcoin stays up.
Yeah, gotta be patient, I guess. But people, unfortunately, bro, they equate price appreciation with the successfulness of a blockchain. We're still in that phase, unfortunately. And I understand, most people are in this for speculation. I'm gonna be honest with you. So, I have my speculative bag, but ultimately a lot of the projects, 80% of the projects I invest in are not on a speculative. It's more on a fundamental technical standpoint. Let me get this other caller in here real quick, Default. Thanks for calling in, bro.
I'm talking to you, man.
All right.
And I know we're going to get this caller in, and then you got to run here in a second, so we're going to try to wrap up here. But thanks for calling in. Who's calling tonight?
Hey, CB, what's going on, man? It's Matt, Ice Cold Crypto, man. Been a minute.
Ice Cold Crypto. It has been a minute. How are you, man?
I'm doing
excellent. What's going on
Are you
with
in DC?
Yes, in DC, calling from DC, man.
I'm originally from Northern Virginia, so Nova.
I know that.
DMV.
I heard you say that before.
Yeah, DMV.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
grew up in the DMV, man, in the suburbs right now. But I was calling, man, because I've been with you with EOS. I've been an EOS supporter, man, since day one. Got in on the crowd sale. Since I was in DC, was able to go to B1 June. Like, I got in and everything. Got the swag bag, man. They're giving away Bose headphones. So, like, been rolling with EOS. But I don't. And I was listening to Dan Larimer yesterday because he's doing his project. He's doing is called E. When he's doing something called E. So been following it. But the problem I'm having with EOS is it's too difficult, man. Like, I'm pretty tech savvy, but the other day I was trying to do a transaction on EOS and they kept telling me my CP, I didn't have enough EOS stake for my CPU. I'm like, how much EOS do I need stake? Like, I couldn't figure it out. And I'm like, I've been in crypto for a while. I've, used MetaMask. I've used everything, but EOS, sometimes I'm like, they got to do something.
So are you familiar with the power up plan?
The power up plan? No.
Yeah. So look into power up. They're shifting the way that whole model works, where it'll be a slight fee, and that will offset some of that CPU RAM issue. But that's what you're gonna have. Like, Tron has that same issue. It's the way that DPoS the architecture around DPoS is set up that way. Telos, you don't have that much of an issue with because they kind of structure things a little differently. You still got RAM and stuff to do stuff, but it's not as resource intensive on the network. But it just kind of made me mad. I'm just trying to move a little bit of EOS out the wallet. I got the account set up. I got like 9 EOS stakes in there, and I'm just trying to do a transaction. Like, just send some EOS out of my wallet. Like, I'm just trying to send 100 EOS here, and it keeps saying I don't have enough RAM, and I'm trying to. And so you're staking CPU instead of RAM.
And it shouldn't be this difficult because the EOS I'm trying to move is in the Exodus wallet. You know what I mean? So it's like, and it keeps popping back. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I was like, it shouldn't be this hard. Like, I own all other types of crypto, but the EOS just setting up the account from the start. You know what I'm saying? I had to get an account and do that. The whole process with setting up the account and trying to get somebody into EOS. So I I just think they need to find a way to just make it a little
Easier?
bit easy.
Yeah, crypto definitely needs to be made a lot easier.
Yeah, no, I agree, bro. It
like,
needs to be improved, and you know, again, that's kind of a core architecture level layer issue. So it can't, you know, so they're working to look into the power up model that's going to happen with EOS, and it was, to me, one of the main reasons you saw it start to finally rally a little bit after that announcement. Because it is going to increase. It's going to help. It's going to help. It's definitely going to help.
Do you think Dan left because of that? How do you think Dan is still going to kind of
he left? Like, I think he left because, as I just told Rice, I think Block One's hands. They've sold their soul.
Well, but it wasn't. It was his idea too. Like as far as I understood with EOS. The whole idea was that he wanted, once he had the blockchain created, he just wanted to build on it, and that was it. And you know, I don't think he wanted to be like in any authority position or anything like that. I just think he wanted a playground to play on.
And that's funny you say they sold their soul though, because you know I like EOS, but I almost said that EOS could be. The way EOS is set up, it could almost be the perfect blockchain for some type of UBI and like a CBDC. Because if you had certain countries, or let's just say that they were the block producers, and you had X number of countries as the 21 block producers, they can control this, do that. They power the CPU, so they provide the wallet to everybody, so nobody has to create an account. They give out the wallet. If you do something, they can freeze your wallet. They can do something to it. So the way EOS is almost structured, I could almost see EOS being a blockchain that could be taken over by some type of entity, and it could be used as some type of CBDC or world currency or something like that. Just the way the way it's set up.
Yeah, I don't know that to be honest with you, that's almost any blockchain. If they put enough resources, meaning the powers that be, they put enough resources together, they can take over almost any blockchain. Think about it. Yeah, they can take over Bitcoin. I do agree. They can take unlimited money that they have, print it up, buy up all the ASIC chips that there are, create new ones, and literally take a 51% stake hold on the network and do whatever they need to do.
I was always curious about that too, when they talked about printing up money.
In some ways. But EOS is set up in some ways. I think it may be a little bit easier. Like if they,
it'll be easier. Well, remember the top 21 are voted by the community in the lower BPs that are on standby.
Yeah, so somewhat. But that's
Go ahead.
I thought that was somewhat, but I thought because that's after some of the block producers they were saying that some people feel like they collude to keep themselves in. So if you hold a large enough stake amongst the certain block producers, and you hold that much EOS, and you're taking everyone's vote, couldn't you pretty much kind of keep your crew voted in almost? You know what I mean? If they somehow was able to get control of enough of the block producers. That would have to happen first.
I'll put it to you. I'll put it to you this way. It definitely is a lower barrier economic entry for a takeover to be done on an EOS versus a Bitcoin or Litecoin or any other.
I think it would be temporary on Bitcoin too, because once everyone they could do it for a short amount of time, but the resources would the government of course is unlimited, but after a while Bitcoin is going to change. The difficulty is going to switch up. So I believe eventually they'll lose that 51%.
Yeah, but if they were smart, while they had control of the 51%, they would change the code, and then
for how long they can have it. Yeah, I agree.
That can happen with DPoS, not just talking EOS, DPoS chain consensus as well. I mean, once you see the 2021 have been compromised, the standby BPs and independent voters can all cast them out by vote.
Yeah.
It
I
literally
agree.
it's actually more agile than a Bitcoin or a proof of stake, proof of work type of blockchain. To be honest with you, in an event of a catastrophic situation like that.
Have you seen
And that's why I
Komodo's
agree
delayed?
with what you say when there's no one particular blockchain for every circumstance. So there's a case point for a decentralized type of blockchain, and then some blockchains don't need to be decentralized.
Exactly.
So I think you just got to depend on what you're doing. So I do think Bitcoin serves its purpose, and then
there's a time and a place. I've always said for centralization versus decentralization.
Agreed.
Yeah.
But I'm a big proponent of decentralization, and where things
Me too.
Should be decentralized, I would always encourage that. Now, if you're a business and you want to utilize blockchain technology, then the HBAR type stuff, the hash graph technology, where it's centralized and you can make changes to your blockchain, that could be useful for somebody like that. So, but when it comes to currency, especially a currency that people are going to be using, it definitely needs to be decentralized so it doesn't have that control, because that's what we're trying to get away from.
Yeah, to me, just to kind of close this conversation, which is a good one. Thanks for calling in, Ice Cold. But to me, bro, like still to this day, I feel like DPoS is a superior consensus model for blockchains at this point. I have a lot of interest in Hashgraph, in particular Hedera Hashgraph. Hashgraphs have some future as well. So if you want to de-risk yourself in this crypto world, look into like Hashgraphs, because that's a whole another way of doing DLTs, right?
That's really not a blockchain, and they own that.
It's patent, not a blockchain.
That's a little bit.
It's a hash graph.
Different.
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah.
Have you seen Komodo's what they have going on with their delayed proof of stake?
No. I remember Komodo. I was being a degen with it years ago.
They it's a really cool idea where what they do is they take snapshots of the actual Komodo blockchain and embed them in the Bitcoin blockchain. And then any projects that are building on the Komodo blockchain are snapshot into the Komodo and then snapshot into the Bitcoin blockchain, so they could roll back at any point if they were 51% attacked.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty interesting.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a lot of news coming out on Komodo.
My man, Mr. G, the recycling guy, said a 51% attack on Bitcoin is highly infeasible, not impossible, but infeasible.
Not when you have an unlimited supply of money that you can just add to a
Now we have unlimited money. I'm sorry, man.
The Fed could do this. Central banks could easily do this.
The Fed or any other government could easily do this.
Central
Especially
bank.
our government, central bank.
Can they get their hands on the ASICs right now though? That's like it's a race against the chips and the processors too. Like it's so many different factors out here.
The Chinese government could go in right now and they could confiscate every single ASIC chip. So the governments have that capability of going in and doing that. The United States did that with gold back in the 1930s. So they could very well tell the U.S. citizens, we want your ASIC chips. Yeah,
E2DAK. Let me just say this real quick. E2DAK said, "What's your EOS account?" He'll delegate some RAM, some resources to you.
Oh, that's sweet.
If you like.
I love that.
Look how nice the EOS community is.
That's a good community, man.
I don't even think that's it because I got enough EOS in there. Like, it's something else going on.
You don't have it.
Hey, if you drop your account, somebody may tip you too. You never know.
So I need to. I'll send the account name. My account name in there. But yeah, because I was like, this is crazy. I haven't had this issue before.
Yeah, like I said, man, EOS, and I think people are so used to looking at like a central entity or organization to oversee a blockchain, and that's not really happen. That doesn't really happen with EOS. Block One is not like Ethereum Foundation. Block One is not like Tron Foundation. You hear what I'm saying? Like
it's a centralized company. It's usually utilizing
it's centralized. They put out new code for the community to use.
Well, it's like IOHK is a centralized company, and Cardano is a decentralized blockchain. So
right.
I mean, you can have some of these entities with centralized companies. You're finding that a lot. I mean, Divvy, they have a centralized company with their banking aspect, their IBAN aspect they're going to be having. So, I mean, there's a time and a place for the centralization. There's nothing wrong with capitalism, as long as you're not doing, pulling like a Ripple XRP kind of move where you're owning more than 50% of your supply and just a complete centralized project. So, I mean, there's ways of going about doing those things.
So speaking of, you were saying you didn't know anything about DPNs, which is decentralized private networks. This is one. Deeper Network is actually a Polkadot project. So
very cool.
Go out there and check it out, guys.
I do like the Polkadot.
I got it on the screen now.
I like what Polkadot's doing. I think that but in a lot of ways, I think that they're copying and took a lot of ideas from some of the things that Nexus were doing as well. But I do like Polkadot.
Shout out to Voice Crypto for the super chat. He said, "What the hell happened to EOS Voice? I never even signed up, bro. I never even
had an
signed
invitation.
Up.
I never joined.
I had an invitation as well.
They were talking about KYC and all this kind of stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, they sent out an email the other day asking some questions. I don't even respond to them anymore. Like this
is what I mean, bro. Like they settled with the SEC.
That was a big letdown.
No, I mean they had no choice.
The voice thing?
No, I'm talking about with Block One in their sale of EOS or the ICO of EOS back in 17 or 18 or whatever. I think their settlement came with strings attached, and I think Dan Lim. This is all my hypothetical opinion. I don't know anything about this, but I think like Dan Limmer either saw the direction that EOS was pushing the project because of that. And was like, look, I'm not willing to go that direction. I'm not willing to go that far, because he's really an anarchist, man.
I was gonna say, yeah, he's a very outspoken anarchist.
Yes, and that was one of the reasons why I really, really liked and jumped on board with the EOS, because of his thought,
his ideologies. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
I wish that would come out a little bit more in his work.
Well, maybe that's what I'm saying, Rice. Maybe it couldn't. Maybe it could.
And I know, I mean, but even with all the things that he's created, it doesn't really have that anarchy behind it. It's just an ideology that he likes and he subscribes to, but it doesn't reflect in his work. I don't think BitShares doesn't have anything that really would have those kind of qualities.
He's looking for a consensus in voting, because he was trying to get a blockchain in for voting years ago. And UBI. So I think he wants, like, he's an anarchist, but then at the same time, it seems like he's trying to find a diplomatic way to run government by code.
People know you just can't get rid of government, so you minimize it. And you do things that you can decentralize and take away some of the power structures that exist.
He's for government, but he's in
a small government.
Trying to create a true democracy or whatever that may be. It's kind of the sense I get from Dan.
Yeah, man. It's gonna be interesting, bro. It's gonna be interesting. Thanks for the call.
Wonderful time to be alive, man. Appreciate y'all, man. Keep up.
Good hearing from you in DC, man.
Hey, that's what's up, right? You got to come through, man. DC look a lot different now.
I was out there on the 6th of January. Where were you?
Hey.
Oh, no. Listen. Now, Rice, you know us brothers. Look, they had already pointed out all the brothers that were there. They were all blasted on Instagram. So you already know.
I was nowhere near downtown that day. You better
right.
No, it is.
Listen, if I lived out there, I wouldn't have been down there. And I'm a Trump supporter. I wouldn't have been out there, bro. I'm sorry.
Nah.
I would have been the one that got shot. You know, the brothers always the one that died in the movie.
Yeah.
You know, so nope.
Appreciate it, man.
All right,
thanks again, man.
It's cold. Thanks, man.
All right.
Oh man. All right, bro. I think that's good, man. We had a great
fun.
conversation tonight. Absolutely, bro. So,
yeah, it's hard. It's hard for us not have like anytime we talk, it doesn't ever go, I think, as you plan.
No, when it's just me and you, nah.
It's kind of hard.
It's just organic, and that's why I love having you on, bro. So
likewise,
all good. So,
yeah, man, I appreciate the invite.
Let the audience know again where they can find you, bro.
RiceTVx. That's it.
.com.
Yeah. Well, the .com. I gotta get something straightened out. It should be back up in the next couple of days. I just had a landing site with my mailing list. I've got to get somebody to help me with the design. So I'm working on that this week.
All right.
But yeah, pretty much you can find me everywhere at RiceTVx. If you're not familiar with me, just check me out. If you like my work, you can support me. There's information on my YouTube channel for my Patreon and PayPal, and I have a Cointree with my crypto addresses if you'd like to send a contribution or a tip. But I just encourage people, especially people who are really interested in freedom, that are looking to make a change in the world in a positive way and be a part of that change. That would be one of the things I would encourage people to check out with my videos.
All right, cool, man. Again, appreciate you coming on, guys. Go support Rice Crypto TV, Rice TV. I'm still trying to get used to saying just RiceTVx, man. But go.
You can call it Rice TV or whatever. I mean, it's fine. People are still gonna find it. I mean, as long as I'm doing it with I think I'm decent with the SEO stuff. So I mean, I think if you put Rice Crypto, Rice TV, RiceTVx, it's all gonna.
Damn, somebody Verdi said way better watch than BitBoy. That's for sure. No comment, right?
I was always taught if you don't have something nice to say, don't say anything at all.
Listen.
Maybe if you reflect back to the beginning of the conversation, you can add up, like 1 + 1 = BB.
Yep. No doubt.
But yeah.
All right, ladies and gents. That's pretty much it. Again, the Roll the Dice crypto NFT crypto set is out. Check me out on Wax. Easy to use, quick, easy, no fees. You just got to get you some wax. You can use actually Swap Zone, and maybe I'll leave a link or pin that at the top of this video. But Swap Zone is a site I use to swap directly. It's like Changely, but they have way more. It's like an aggregator. So you put in what coin you're looking to send or swap, and what coin you're looking to receive. And they'll go out and do an aggregated search and find all these.
So it's like a DEX aggregator. Is it a DEX or a SEX and a DEX aggregator?
Both.
Okay.
Yep. It'll find. But when it finds it, though, you do it right on their site. So you send it to Swap Zone, and they go and shoot it over to them using their API.
How are their fees? Are their fees good?
They sort by fees, too. Let me find it really quickly. I'm going to find this for people so they can go check it out. Swapzone.io. I'll drop a link right now in the chat room. This is where you can easily jump in and out of Wax this way as well. So check this site out, swapzone.io. I've used it for HBAR, a number of cryptos. So really cool, man. It sorts it by fees and all that. Lease fees and best rate or whatever.
Is it just a website, or do they have an application like a mobile app?
Not sure. I use their website. I'm not sure.
It doesn't look like they have a mobile app, but
yeah.
Okay, that's cool though. I'll check it out.
Check it out. All right, ladies and gents, another episode under the belt, number 63.
Holla.
Rice Crypto on with me tonight. Yes, holla. We are out of here. Peace.
Stacking my coin, Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, cash. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, cash.
Smoking on that crippy got me cliff high. Steam pot, heat rock, slingshot. Surfing through the city while them chips rise. hot boy, do it big time. LMA with my summer bay, we booed up. Cali hit the bay, we fly.
Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
Nigga violate till it's JFK like Sharu.
Fucking thing sucks. We'll do it live.